trees. So this is what we consider acceptable today, is to get into our own personal vehicles and zoom 50 miles an hour past graveyards and past deserted, round-up landscapes in burning fuel that is taken at gunpoint from around the world, held in place by a petrodollar and a central banking Federal Reserve system, so that I can cruise at my whim into town in my personal vehicle here, this couple ton hunk of metal, all by myself, even though there's a train of other people coming the other way. A chain, you could say. Maybe one sustainable person could pull everybody all at once in. And maybe we could plant the roadside instead of dead lawns and poisoned and Roundup, starving trees. We could have a chance to put in edible landscapes and eat the food that we grow here, and grow our clothing, and grow our fuel, and grow our plastics. We could connect the deeper part of ourselves, the living part of ourselves. Just look into the car in front of me and get pulled along in this long chain here. You see it already forming, just like links in a train, except for we can hook the cars together in chains and get trucks like this one right here to pull all of us all around the island. That truck right there can pull us all. There's one link right behind them already. Here's the next one's coming around. See all these cars linked in here? It's the Hawaii Link Road. Or the chain, right? The chain, the island chain. Yeah, the island chain. Maybe that's what you should call it. So what I'd prefer to be acceptable to this, instead of our car incarnation being all around burning fossil fuel things in our cars and polluting, to slow down a little bit, to go maybe 10 or 15 miles an hour into town. And so maybe the journey that just took me 15 minutes took me an hour. But along the way, you know what? Someone gave me some taro that they had cookied into poi. And then this other uncle hooked me up with some pork lau lau. And that was grinds. And then I had some sugarcane juice from my sweetie, and that was fun. And I got to see some good music shows there, and had an opportunity to also plant some food, you know, which is important, because when you go places, I'm not just like a tourist just stopping by. I live here, you know, it's just permanent. So planting is part of being a place, you know. Like this around me here, this is just this grass. Could be healthier, you know. Look at that. If we get together, concentrate the forest, microorganisms, put them out there, we could have cattle that are, you know, the healthiest specimens you've ever seen. we live in the land of abundance here, and recognizing that and understanding how to culture what's right around us and to utilize our landscapes in a way that is beneficial to life. And that's where we're headed, right? As I drive this car up this road, burning more toxic chemicals into the air. But it's easy right now. But I feel that a trained and Akamai population of farmers that gather together and eat food together and understand the work of what it means to grow your own food and to live within our means and having the Aloha spirit between us. So, what do I want to see? I'd like to see it where someone will sponsor the Farmers Union United membership so that we can offer scholarships for like 3 hours of work on a community service project, and someone will sponsor the yearly membership for that person. And I think that way we can get a lot of people. Because when I say $45 to a person in my situation, it's like, oh man, well, I can spend that here. It's a good cause. And especially if 3 hours of work is equivalent, because that's about what it is for me. We can get a lot of people in there and have food going, and I've been talking about this idea with this truck. So you get a flatbed truck like that, and you put musicians on the back of it, and you have all these bright lights, and you prep the area ahead of time, and then you drive it slowly down the road, and as they're playing their jams and everyone's dancing, that you can be putting like a shovel into the ground and popping a hole in while someone's following behind and plopping in hoolies, and people are building mounds and burying sweet potato and putting in sugar cane and tea leaf and, mulching all the pigeon peas and putting in longer term crops and food forests and spreading beneficial indigenous microorganisms so that way the area is really healthy, comes back to life, and can start cleaning and sequestering the carbon and the toxins and putting that back into the ground and not putting it into our food and letting our carbons in our body have to buffer less toxins because our food is healthier and more carbaceous. Yeah. I can't really see Monica behind me anymore. But that's the idea, just a whole, like all along the roadsides, they should all be planted. I mean, we can plant them all. And we can spread IMO all over this entire island and create a blanket. Because right now, you see this grass here. The thing about this grass is that it's like a millimeter thin skin. Millimeter thin. So all this grass you see behind me is like a scab on the earth. And then you see where it's a forest down over there. Look how thick that is in terms of a skin, right? Look at that. That's like, so when the sun hits it and it's like that much skin on it versus the sun hits this grass right here and it's like only a tiny bit of skin. And so the earth needs nice thick skin, Not everywhere. We can make intensive gardens and terrace areas and put in intensive vegetable gardens and intensive crops for us to eat. And we can mulch those other trees into that area and put like a huge band-aid as we grow on this wound that we create. But the earth needs thicker skin everywhere. And not just like any kind of albesia like down there where I was pointing to, but it needs like nice trees coating it and a thick layer to sequester the... I mean, can you hear the buzz down there now? The buzz of cars just going and going. Of all that we're releasing into the air, that needs to come back down and go back through the earth. And if there's not enough carbon to do it through that, it goes into us, and then we die from those toxins. So this is why we need a thicker skin on the earth. See, here in this area I've been caretaking behind me, I have like, it's not the thickest skin, it's not the most healthy skin, but it's a better scab than this mowed grass here. This mowed grass is like, oh, the earth is, it only harbors bacteria. There's no fungus in there. The nematodes are just, of the worst type because there's no balance, there's no harmony. Over here behind me, where I've caretaken this, it may look like overgrown to people's ideas, but no, I'm cultivating great microorganisms, great soil. Look at how thick this skin is. Imagine you're a patient and you're always picking your scabs. How are you going to heal? I'm healing the land here. There's better ways to do it. There's ways to get in there with intensive microorganisms to turn that buzz of cars into a buzz of farmers working out here on the land, putting themselves, applying IMOs, culturing our microbes, and putting this all out, But we need to understand that this is this agriculture here is what we need in terms of a return to thicker skin and a smarter approach to that, so that we can all work together to heal and sequester and live with. You either have good carbon or you have cancer, and it just comes down to that. Um, you know, People say it's like an acidic system that kills you, and it's your carbon buffer that's overflowed, and so then you get all this acid and buildup in you, and you can't buffer it with your carbon, and so then you get cancer and die, man. So good carbon, good farming, let's do it. Good growing.